But what I will say honestly is that, especially after this election, which was one of the most polarizing in history again, there's just this growing trend of seething anger and hatred festering like a rotten egg that's primarily coming from the political left in America. And I have personal experience with it, which I'll get to in a bit. If the obvious needs to be said, it's not all of them. There are plenty of reasonable leftists and liberals, or whatever you want to call it. I know plenty of people who watch my channel are on the left and agree with some of my left-wing perspectives. But at this point, you can't deny that it's a growing and concerning trend of just so much hatred coming from the side that purports to be empathetic and compassionate, just purely hypocritical from these, internet trolls. And it's a reason why, even though, as you know, I might be considered left-wing on a lot of individual issues, I don't like to associate with these people, who say that they're on the left, because many of them will attack you like rabid dogs for any tiny amount of disagreement that you might have with them. If you didn't know, I personally made a video a few months ago about Trump, where basically for 80% of it, I was criticizing him. I was saying I don't like Trump's policies that he's doing in the second term, and I actually happen to agree with the left on a lot of issues. And to my surprise at the time, I got just this insane amount of hatred, even literal death threats directed towards me. But not from the right. I thought if anything it would be from the right, but literally 99% of it was coming from the so-called left, the tolerant and accepting liberals. Calling them tolerant and accepting is kind of nowadays it's just like calling wild criminals doctors and engineers, if you know that meme. It's literally the opposite of what they are. And they were mad at me, someone who's an independent, I'm not even a Republican, just for ever having supported Trump over the other candidate at some point in my life. Again, I literally got some of the worst imaginable things you can possibly say. A lot of them, if you go to that video, you won't even be able to see them because the platform just automatically filters them out because of how vulgar and disgusting they are. But I still get the notifications, I still sometimes screenshot them in case I want to show them on the screen, but it's wild, dude. And this ties back into the Charlie Kirk thing, because if for someone like me, someone who only has a fraction of the platform that he has, if even I've been getting death threats, I can't imagine what someone like him had to have been going through on a day-to-day basis. I feel like on some level he might have even known that this was coming, because some of these people are just maniacs, afraid of actual conversation, and instead just resort to, at best, personal attacks online, or at worst, personal attacks in person, as you see here. And again, I was watching a lot of coverage of it from left-wing influencers and channels, and some of the comments on these videos are just absolutely gross, literal scum of the earth kind of things that they're saying. And it's not even that there's one comment here or there that's kind of despicable, maybe only gets a like or two and gets buried under other more reasonable comments. No, these literally are the top comments on some of these videos. It's a sad reality that a lot of people simply don't have original thoughts anymore, nor the ability to form original thoughts. Most people are just like drones, and their thoughts are just extensions or offshoots of the type of media they consume. So, for example, when you're seeing hundreds and thousands of pieces of media and people's comments every single day, calling the other side racist and fascists, and they're destroying the country, and uses all this inflamed rhetoric, the most provocative words possible designed to trigger a reaction so that you click and engage with the post, that encourages, a lot of anger. And some of these comments even implicitly or explicitly encourage violence on some level. And when you are constantly fed this stuff on a daily basis as part of your information diet, you're more likely to act on that. It's that simple. But now that it seems like people are pushing back against cancel culture, the people who want to push cancel culture are realizing that just pressure and manipulation isn't going to work anymore, so now they're taking more aggressive and extreme measures.